I need to press that button, and I need to press that button. And I need to press one last button. I need to go to that. So first off, we have this buzzsaw figure.
Well, yeah, I'm seeing my stream isn't working.
Oh. Oh no.
Stream failed to start. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, still not working.
I guess we have to do it the other way we can get this. That I can think of to get this to work. I'll manually feed you each one. So we have that buzzsaw figure to start with.
Okay. Nothing really to comment on other than it's just a recolor
Yeah.
of Laserbeak.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the original Soundwave figure actually came with Buzzsaw, not Laserbeak.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
If I recall correctly, he originally came with Buzzsaw, not Laserbeak.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call him as Laserbeak as the character.
Yeah, well, Laserbeak is the one that ended up being most used in the show, and therefore now almost always whenever you see Soundwave packed with someone, it's Laserbeak first. So yeah, it is a recolor of the Laserbeak mold. I just thought I'd mention it because it's a little neat bit of information.
Okay.
Then we have Emirate Zeron. This guy.
Is that
A guy from the Marvel Comics that was original to the Marvel Comics.
original? Look like that's like the worst looking tank I've ever seen. Even if it's supposed to be Cybertronian, looks like he has like two of his arms out, and his left hand is like giving a
So, those are his
thumbs up.
Those are his feet.
I know, that's what's weird about it.
Yeah. I don't think he ever actually transformed in the comic, so they kind of did just make something up for the vehicle mode.
Seriously?
They also ended up being somewhat limited by, this is the reflector mold that they've modified here. They took an individual figure of Reflector and have modified it to make this character from the comics. So they did also have to deal with what engineering was already there.
Okay.
But yeah, since he never transformed in the comics, technically all you need is for the robot mode to look right, especially since you can technically take every part of the tank off of him in robot mode to make him even more accurate. So, yeah. Yeah, it's just a thing of that apparently Apparently Hasbro can't make non-transforming Transformer characters.
Well, of course not, because that would just be an action figure. Like, that doesn't transform.
Yeah. So admittedly, in his case, he's in a 2-pack with a guy that was shown transforming. So why he couldn't be a secondary... Why he couldn't just be a guy, I'm not certain. And just have the other one be the transforming one. Speaking of which, this is Flame. Not Hot Rod, not Rodimus. Flame.
Yes. It's neither of those guys, even though it looks like. Also, where is he from?
Same comic, I'm pretty sure. He's in a 2-pack with the last guy.
Looks like a different style, though.
Probably because for some reason they ended up deciding they're going to use the War for Cybertron game Megatron as the base mold.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Which, admittedly, it looks relatively accurate. It just is a weird choice when, in most situations, that is a rather drastic change of style.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why they had done a guy that looks so much like Hot Rod and Rodimus for those comics. Especially since, if I recall, I had seen briefly that apparently this guy is some disgraced Autobot scientist who I think might have killed the other guy.
Oh.
So, yeah. Why give him Hot Rod Rodimus color scheme? I don't know. Next up, we have give me a moment. We have our first Galvatron of the day. Armada Galvatron.
Not sure. Like, even in the show itself, I'm not sure why they went for, like, a Borg file for his head.
I don't know either. It basically reminds me of Galactus's helmet.
Oh yes, it totally does. With like the horns and like the color as well. Yeah.
I've also noticed he kind of has, at least with this figure, a tan with purple color scheme, and that's now making me think, even though it's the wrong tan and the wrong purple, it's now making me think of Blitzwing. I mean, it's too light of a tan, and a lighter purple. But those are the two colors of Blitzwing.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why they chose this for a color scheme, since he turns into a tank? A roundabout reference, maybe? Either that, or they didn't even think of that, and it's pure coincidence.
I mean, either way, yeah. It's like, why? Also, I just noticed for his tank mode, his head is like sticking out the treads.
Yeah.
Sort of like how it is in Revenge of the Fallen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like that like most Megatrons have, like their head are like showing in like their vehicle modes as a tank.
I don't think so. Now you're making me have to. Now you're making me have to second guess myself because I need to now check the. I need to now go check both the Siege and Earthrise molds. Because now I'm curious. Because I don't recall seeing their heads in I don't recall seeing their heads, but maybe you can? Megatron. So, let's see. So, it doesn't look like it for the Siege one. Which would mean most likely not for Earthrise, since Earthrise is pretty much just a retool of the Siege one.
What about Generation 2 Megatron?
Both versions of Generation
with like the green tank ball.
Both versions of Generation 2 Megatron that they've done for the modern scale are just recolors of either this. One's a recolor of the Siege mold, one's a recolor of the Earthrise version.
Okay.
That does make me question one last thing. Where is it? The Siege mold, Megatron. There we go. The Shattered Glass Megatron. Okay. I don't think you can see it in the Shattered Glass one either. Maybe if from behind you could, but not from the front at least. I wonder if someone on the team of Revenge of the Fallen, because I think this came out before Revenge of the Fallen, had ended up intentionally doing that.
Could be like a creator preference.
Yeah.
Or
in the film franchise known for deviating away from from existing designs. Yeah, let's see. That also has given me a question of. I'm gonna quickly look if that's something the original toy had. Yeah, it was. Okay. So that was something his original tank mode did. Interesting. I mean, I kind of assumed it would be it, considering Legacy tends to go for accuracy to the shows and such. I just never remembered seeing that in the show.
Neither did I.
Yeah. Let's see. The second and final Galvatron for today is the Energon. The Energon version.
He looks like a kid's meal, or like a kid's meal toy.
Yeah, he's one of the core class figures because for some reason they decided to do Energon, Megatron, and Galvatron as core class instead of full scale first.
Yep.
He looks better than that Cheetor they tried to do from Beast Machines, though.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Definitely has a more actual Galvatron color scheme going on there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another core class guy is Geocron here.
Let me take a good look at its head.
So, the head is directly based on the stone creatures from one of the episodes of Japan's Generation 1 anime shows that had partially been the inspiration of these guys. The other inspiration being the Rock Lords.
It looks like William Afton when he was stuck inside Springtrap.
Yeah, it kind of looks just like a smooth head.
I mean, that's all that's inside a Springtrap.
Yeah. You know,
It's like a smooth looking, rotting corpse inside a metal suit.
yeah. What would be funny is if they had, and so there looks like there's a little tiny indent around where the nose technically would be, and like it's not, and like there is a couple of creases that are not super visible. But it would be funny if that was more noticeable, because then it would kind of look like a ghoul's face.
It would, yeah.
It would be funny if both the kind of bumps were a little more visible and then the indent was a bit more visible, and then it would kind of look like a ghoul's face.
It would. Oh, and then you would have a character to play as the ghoul. Fallout.
Minus that he would be way too short. Remember, this is still a core class guy.
Oh yeah, but you can still give him a cowboy hat.
I theoretically could, but he does turn into the same kind of tricycle cart thing that the other core class rock guy turned into. the kind of tricycle motorcycle thing with medieval wheels. Which I don't know would fit as well.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. That would be way too out of place for Fallout.
Yeah. Maybe if he was from one of the, maybe if he was from the bigger, almost Flintstone car mold, and had his head, that could maybe work a bit better, because then at least it looks a little bit like a bit of an armored car.
Actually, now that I think about it, do they even have like bicycles in the Flintstones?
Maybe? I can't recall. I mean, theoretically,
and if they do, how does that work? Are they just still walking?
Theoretically, I think they could. I think technically they could. They could potentially have bicycles, and they could potentially not be just them using foot power. Just due to the nature of, well, aside from that, I think usually they use foot power to start the cars, and then they just kind of continue for a while before they need to do that again. I could see some sort of system to have like a chain end up rotating a back wheel working, even in Flintstone style. So they probably have at least normal bicycles, and if they don't, I could still see them have easily being able to design something that looks like it would work.
Yeah.
Especially since I think I recall that Barney made a helicopter at one point. So
It's actually been a while since I've watched Flintstones.
it's been a while since I watched most of Flintstones too. So yeah, I think if he was able to make a helicopter, which now that I think about it, I think there was like systems with like I'm not thinking of the correct word for it, but like a chain or like a chain or something that ended up making something else rotate. I think that might have been part of the design for the helicopter he made. So in theory they should, even if it doesn't show it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we're getting way too off topic.
Yes. Getting a bit back on topic. We have Heater.
Okay, so we have one of the target masters. Is that what they're called?
Yeah. He is
Okay.
one of the two target masters that goes with Quake.
Oh, okay.
Sadly, due to the nature of how they end up turning out when they're forcibly made to fit in as pack-in characters, literally there's only one joint, and it's just to flip out the barrels of the gun.
Yeah, and that's why I immediately noticed as well. It's basically just an accessory.
Yeah. On one hand, I like that they try and do that, so that you end up having both of their weapons, but on the same side of that, but on the other side of that coin, they have target master molds, which, while still limited in what they can do, actually have arms and legs.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do like a multi-pack at some point where they redo a couple of these characters. Maybe
Yeah. Maybe give them like articulate and
yeah, like all they need to do is have like, say, since technically a target master is like $7, I think typically make like even like a 3-pack would technically hit 20. So like a 3 or 4-pack even would end up being able to account for like a deluxe sized price point in theory, technically, and do like a 4-pack or so. Preferably just to do a pack of like everyone that you've packed in. But even if you do like a 4-pack, then you've got Quake Needlenoses set of guys. And just take like the siege molds and maybe, and if necessary, do little bits of retooling. Probably mainly the barrel and the torso, a little bit. And that would end up getting you better versions of those characters at least. Then again, I don't know how much they'd want to just be like, yes, here's a pack of these little target master guys. And only the target masters. Next up we have Metal Hawk in toy colors, or mostly toy colors. I say mostly toy colors because he had his original toy had a completely gold torso instead of more yellowish plastic.
I'm sorry, my internet went out for a second.
Ah.
The stream is actually working now.
Oh, that's good. I had basically just gone on a little bit of a tangent of just how a multi-pack of the Target Masters would work from the Siege molds being slightly modified, and then had moved to Metal Hawk, where he's mainly the toy colors, minus that his original toy actually had like a proper gold color for his torso and head instead of a more yellowish one.
Interesting.
Yeah. Apparently the
Like
only
the gold paint for his toy.
I don't think so. Let's see. So
I'm not asking if it's like real gold. I'm saying if it was gold or just.
yeah, so the original toy had like gold. Basically, it looked like, I think it was die cast that ended up looking like gold colored, so maybe like gold plated or something like that, or gold foil or something along the lines of it looked like actual gold. I don't know what the actual thing they used was. Maybe it was bronze. It might have been bronze that made it look gold.
Or it could have been brass. Brass looks more like gold than bronze.
Right. Brass would look more like gold. So it might be that it was brass. But yeah, the designer had noted that they didn't use molded gold plastic due to potential longevity issues, and partly also because of he ended up having to work within the coloration of the original release, given typically they don't really change the color scheme when they do re-releases.
Okay.
So he couldn't really do anything too drastic other than change what the vibrancy, I think, was for the most part. Yeah. This definitely looks a lot better for like someone just wanting a bright, colorful version of the figure. Even though I've not seen the show he's from, I do like still having the version that was based directly off the show, though.
Yeah, I think it's nice.
Yeah. Then we have Animated Motor Master. So he technically didn't show up in animated show.
Wait, Billy?
Yeah. Yeah, he and the Stunticons, I don't know if they were necessarily, I don't know if they were planned for the show and never got into it before it got canceled, or if they just ended up not happening to be characters that would be more than background characters anyway if they did make it in. But they did not make it into the animated show. What did happen though was they were a BotCon set where Motormaster had been made from the Optimus, and they had ended up doing like a script reading. I think either that or they had ended up doing or it was just a comic. No, it looks like both the comic and it had been read out as a script. Where apparently he was voiced by Grimlock's voice actor.
Like the original voice actor?
Yeah, like the original Grimlock voice actor had apparently done the animated version of Motormaster, or as the wiki calls him, the Motormaster.
That would have been interesting to see.
Yeah. According to one of the people that had made animated here, according to him, he sounds like a Macho Man Randy Savage, and his appearance is based on wrestler bad guy archetype. So yeah. So the wiki ends up having a lot of things in capital letters and drawn out. I wonder if I can find. It's possible that someone had ended up recording that script reading. Oh, I had just gone over to to the page on Greg Berger, the guy that voiced the original Grimlock. Apparently, he had voiced animated Cheetor in one of those, in either the same or a different script reading. Well, that's interesting.
Okay.
I would not think of him as the guy to do Cheetor.
No.
Interesting. Yeah. Anyway, we got a little sidetracked again. Oh well. Yeah. Then we have the Optimus Prime based on the original toy. So, from my understanding, this is a completely new mold, but it basically follows most of the same things, like the transformation steps from the original figure.
Interesting.
He's also a deluxe, so he's probably a little shorter than Earthrise Prime or Siege Prime.
How's he a deluxe?
I wonder if he's a deluxe, because I wonder if they're going to maybe do more things like this. And for similar reasons to why Transformers 1 has their Optimus Prime as a deluxe of he's being set to the scale of Optimus and other big Optimus is a deluxe. so everyone else ends up being a bit smaller, so that it's easier to have everyone from that grouping. I wonder if that's what they're up to with that.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. On one hand, that makes... I do like that. On one hand, I like that they're doing that because that is nice for people that are trying to collect it, to collect characters. But on the other hand, it does mean if you have multiple continuities, with all the other Optimuses being about the same height, then you just have a shorter Optimus pop in, and now it looks a little off.
Yep.
So that is now making me think, if they do start doing versions of Prime and animated in Studio Series, are they gonna make them be the same scale as everyone else? Or are they gonna do this with them? And I would kind of hope they don't do this with them.
Agreed.
Because that would be annoying.
Yeah.
We have Pathfinder here.
Not Cosmos.
Nope. Same mold, different character.
Same color. No, it's not the same.
Not same color. Cosmo is a dark green.
Yeah. In place of blue.
Yep. Same color layout would be more accurate.
Yeah.
Pathfinder is part of the GoBots 3-pack, and apparently this is a GoBots logo that hasn't been seen in I think decades. At least in toy form, just because, you know, Hasbro bought it.
Yes.
That does make me go back into a question I had when I had seen that they are flat out using stuff that acknowledges that characters they have are GoBots characters. Are they going to eventually do redos of the characters from the show, of the actual GoBots character designs from the GoBots show?
Yeah.
That would be kind of funny. I don't know that I would try and end up fitting those in my collection anywhere, but that would be kind of funny.
It would, yeah.
Then we have Quake, of which they ended up taking a very not realistic looking tank and managed to make something semi-realistic, still not that realistic.
I would argue that it would probably be like a moon tank.
Yeah, I think it
kind of looks like a rover, almost.
Yeah, it's definitely, the top definitely looks a little too blocky for a normal tank. Especially like right here at the front underneath the barrel.
Yeah.
But it ends up looking decently enough like a tank or like one that you could say that it's like a Cybertronian tank or something.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I've seen some people apparently end up looking at this and being like, "Oh, this is terrible. I don't see it. This actually looks pretty good for that. This seems like a very heavy retool."
I mean, it's decent enough, I will say, but I don't think it's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially since this is a guy that literally, like, who knows who the double target masters are?
Yeah.
Why? There's a reason that most of them have been being reuses of other molds. Because the only one that most people, yeah, if I recall correctly, he's a reuse of another mold, and then there was no, okay, so he was a reuse of another mold. Needlenose wasn't, but Spinster's the only one that people really know because he became a prominent figure, I think, in the comics. Almost no one knows really the other ones. And to be honest, if I recall, Quake only has 3 figures. His original, one where he was a retool of the character Hardhead, one of the headmasters for some reason, and this one. So he doesn't have a lot to his name going on, and admittedly, Needlenose is kind of in the same boat. He has his original. He had a figure that was made from one of the Combiner Wars molds, where they did apparently make new Target Master partners for him there. Quake didn't even get his Target Master partners. And then he had gotten his Legacy mold. They they are not well-known characters. You cannot expect all of them to be getting new molds. That's something I don't get, why some people just flat out hate reusing molds, even if that's probably the only way we're getting some of these characters. Because they could make entirely brand new molds, but that's gonna be a lot more money and a lot more expensive, and guess what? Not everyone from Hasbro's executives is going to want to take the risk that this guy that no one knows is going to sell well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because say me and other people are big nerds and actually somewhat know who this guy is, doesn't mean nearly anyone does.
Yeah.
Then we have a Ravage, of which, for some reason, the guy that had revealed it referred to this as a kind of Shadow Ravage. Don't know what that means.
And redundant.
Yeah.
Also, apparently that form is made in Japan.
Yeah, I think I recall that being a thing on his original toy. I wonder if in reality he's kind of based flatly on the original toy colors. Because that's something that happened with the last cassette that the Soundwave is going to come with, of which that's going to be a fun thing to discuss. But we'll get to that later. Or just the very next thing. Hi, Rumble. Specifically noted to be based on the toy colors, but the toy colors are Frenzy's because Frenzy was the blue cassette toy originally.
Oh yeah.
So he's based on Frenzy's toy colors, not Rumble's toy colors, but he's called Rumble because Generation 1's cartoon wins out most of the time when it comes to Generation 1 stuff. But that's why I said that it was gonna be fun once we get to discussing that. Because I get what the guy was because it is based directly on those toy colors. It's just those are Frenzies. Yeah, since they did toy colors for him, that's why I wonder if that's what was going on with Ravage, and for some reason instead of just saying toy colors for Ravage, he was like Shadow Ravage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Slipstream, which luckily is not animated Slipstream nor Generation 1 Slipstream. It is Cyberverse Slipstream, even though it still looks nothing like Cyberverse Slipstream.
It looks like Prime Slipstream.
It would kind of, but also not.
I mean, that's just me, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, but also not, especially considering Slipstream technically never showed up in the show. She only exists.
I'm just saying it's like in the same style.
A little bulky still for that style.
Yeah, I guess so.
For Prime Starscream is as thin as a toothpick, if you recall. So this seems a little too bulky for feet and these shoulder pads. Yeah, I don't understand the obsession they seem to have with Slipstream having a different mold from other Seekers. Especially considering apparently the person working on the rebooted IDW comics had originally planned on having Slipstream use the Siege mold, and then got told to use the Cyberverse mold instead. When it was a Generation 1 based comic. The original Cyberverse toy, not this one. But yeah, that's weird. It doesn't make any sense to me. It does make me worried though that instead of getting proper animated or Generation 1 Slipstreams, you'll get something like this again. Where it's just, hey, let's just use this other female jet plane that we have instead of using the proper mold that we should be using for this.
Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it's not like this doesn't look like it fits in with the other Seekers at all, especially considering apparently cannot attach she does apparently come with null rays, but you can't attach them to the arms at all.
What?
Yeah, she has to hold them in her hands.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. We have another one of the GoBots. I think this is Smallfoot. I think the only thing I really have to say is they instead of doing a flat recolor like I think the figure originally was, I think they actually molded in, instead of where Gears' face was, they molded in the GoBots character's face.
Really?
Which is interesting. Because I think originally it had just been a flat recolor of Gears when Takara had ended up deciding this color scheme from the Gears mold would be representative of that GoBot. So they took the time and effort, it looks like, to add in the actual face of the character. And it does make me question if they're starting to test the waters of if people want if they want more GoBot stuff or not. If they were willing to make a whole extra head sculpt and start using some of the imagery from the other franchise. That is something strange.
Yeah.
It also kind of ends up making it look like this character has hair now.
It kind of does, yeah.
Even though I'm pretty sure that's just a carryover from the sides of Gear's head. It looks like hair with this face sculpt instead of just part of a head. Yeah, let's see. Let me go find Gears. Yeah. Let's see, save this. I need to place it so that it will show up after this one. So I can switch back and forth between them. Let's see. No, it's not doing it yet. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look. That's just a carryover from Gears, but here this looks like one face plate that just is split up with some red, and here it looks like hair.
Maybe it could be like, it's like,
I think it might have.
You
know what it might be? It might be because this actually curves in and isn't flush with the side.
Yes.
That might be what's making the difference, because his face is flush against that, making it look like it's all one uniform piece. While this ends up coming in to a chin at an angle, which separates it from this. That might be why it looks more like hair here instead of on Gears.
Yeah.
That's interesting, just how one difference changes completely something that they didn't change.
Talk about the mandala effect.
There. Then we have Soundwave himself from the Netflix mold, so he turns into a cassette player.
So is this like the Siege sound wave?
Yes, I think if I recall correctly, it's a heavily modified version of the Siege Soundwave that was made for the Netflix line that turns into a cassette player instead of whatever this flying space brick was that he had been for Siege. I don't know why Siege seemed to love making giant flying space bricks. Maybe that's part of why I'm kind of soured with Siege's Cybertronian mode so much. Either look like flying space bricks, or they look like just the real thing, just off enough where it doesn't look right. for the Earth vehicle.
Maybe.
Instead of being something uniquely Cybertronian, it's either space brick or an Earth vehicle that is just off enough where it doesn't look like the Earth vehicle itself. But yeah. So we have him, and then we have the other Target Master partner of Quake, Tip Top.
Yeah, it's basically like the other one, like no articulation in the arms or the legs. The only articulation there is for the thing
this
to
right
like
here,
out.
flipping that out.
Yeah, like that's all there is. It's basically no different from the other one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Something to quickly mention with the Soundwave.
Yeah, both paired with Quake.
Yeah, that's how the Target Masters with Needle Nose work, and basically how the Target Master with the Point Blank works. It is heavily it's heavily something to do with budget and making them fit into the mold with the rest of the parts for the guy, which is again at the same time unfortunate, but also is kind of nice of that you have them, but they really should go in and end up retooling the Siege Target Master molds and make like a multi-pack.
I agree.
Yeah, something I almost forgot to mention with Soundwave here. So this is pretty much a Voyager figure. I think the Netflix version had been like $40 because of Netflix version and the 2 cassettes. Well, because of it being a Netflix exclusive and had 2 cassettes with it. This is now a leader, now that he has 3 cassettes. So, instead of 40 or 30, he is now 60. Now, each cassette being $7 technically. Let's see, 3 cassettes would end up putting you at 21. 30 plus 21 equals 51, so I mean technically if you were to make the cassettes be the same price as the Target Masters, but I think 2 cassettes were technically the price of a Target Master, so actually it'd be more like 14, so 45 or so would be in theory the accurate. Let's see. So like 50 would be the accurate price then, because you'd have an extra cassette, so cut that in half. Whatever. Point being, it's a little stretching it, I would say, for leader. Yeah. kind of a little pushing it. The last guy to discuss today we have is Treads, the last of the GoBots guys.
Isn't he like based off of like another Autobot who also turns into a tank? I think his name was like
Treads is a recolor of Warpath.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, all the GoBots characters, or most of the GoBots characters that show up in Transformers, at least the grouping that they're currently doing, were based on had been originally recolored from the Generation 1 mini-bots, like Bumblebee and Co.
Okay.
So yeah. Also Treads is a Decepticon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of had a feeling with like his color tone and his red eyes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I completely missed the Decepticons.
Actually, something that is curious to me, now that I'm thinking about it, is since we have a new mold for Bumblebee, and the Netflix Bumblebee mold, I'm pretty sure is freed up now from the exclusivity deal that they had with Netflix. I wonder if we'll see either the Netflix Bumblebee mold itself or the new Bumblebee mold turned into a version of Bug Bite, the white Bumblebee.
That would be interesting.
Because that's technically what he was. Because he had been a white recolor of Bumblebee when he was a part of, I think, what was originally a six-pack of the little mini-bot guys. Alongside these three, a character called Road Ranger, and then I think a gray version of Power Glide. The last time they made him, they basically made him a cliff jumper with Bumblebee's head but white. So I do wonder if they're gonna do another version of him with either the 100% accurate Bug or the squished Bug molds. That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would.
Especially since he's about the only one that most people know of that six-pack of guys. So it would make sense for them to maybe do a redo of him using one of those two bug modes. Molds. There. Anyway. But part of why I was also thinking about that is he ended up being not a bug, and he ended up having the mercenary logo instead of a Decepticon logo. When I think the original figure had been listed as a Decepticon, so that's why I'm wondering if maybe they'll do a redo to better fit this grouping. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah. So now I guess we need to end up discussing what we're most looking forward to and least looking forward to. For most looking forward to, I'm going to probably have to say either Quake and his Target Masters or this pack of guys. Or the 3-pack of the GoBot guys. What about you?
For me, it would have to be like Soundwave and his cassettes or Metal Hawk.
Yeah, the only thing with Soundwave is I happen to get lucky and get the Netflix mold version. So the only... And I technically have a version of Rumble already, and Netflix Soundwave came with a Ravage. So this is basically just holding over my head that Buzzsaw has not had a figure yet of this scale, except now here he is in a 3-pack with the Soundwave I already have. So I'm a tad annoyed with that.
I'm mostly annoyed by the Target Master mold.
Yeah. I would say the thing that looks the worst in my opinion is kind of this, because it feels very... It feels like it's a very cheap reference to the original Slipstream figure that had been a retool of Windblade, because that mold actually worked for animated Slipstream. The original Generation 1 Windblade mold they made, it worked for animated Slipstream, but here this just doesn't fit any version of Slipstream.
No.
Yeah, let me pull this up so I can show you exactly what I mean by what they are probably referencing, and show you just how much better that actually translated. Because it is very frustrating that they decided to just do this for some reason. I don't even understand why. Save images. Go find this one. Save images. Alright, so let's see. It needs to load them in. So I'm gonna flip between these a bit randomly for now while it loads. I added more pictures into the thing. Oh, there we go. So here's the original Windblade mold that was the first version of Windblade ever made. And here's the animated Slipstream that they had made from it.
Okay, yeah, I can see some similar.
Yeah, this to this, they went through the effort to actually make that look good.
Yes. Unlike what they did with
Yeah. Unlike this one where it basically just changed the head. It seems like they changed the head and added null rays. That does not a Seeker make.
Nope.
Yeah, because even with this older one, they basically completely redid the torso, the head, the arms. It looks like basically the only things that stayed the same were the wings and feet. If they did this with this, maybe that would have worked, but this, no.
No. Definitely not.
Yeah. Yes, I'm gonna say that's my figure that I would say is that I'm least looking forward to. What about you?
Definitely the Target Masters.
Yeah, the Target Masters I could see. The one thing saving them for me is just, again, they're like that due to budget reasons because they are packed in with Quake himself instead of being separate.
But if I'm potentially spending $7 on like a small ass figure, I want it to be good.
But you don't spend $7 on them individually. They're packed in with the $25 Quake figure. They're just his accessories due to how they're doing it. So that's why I'm like, it's annoying, but I can give it a pass due to that they're not making you pay extra for them. They basically take the place of if he were to have any extra guns. I still do wish that they do the multi-pack thing, though. Yeah, sorry if I ended up accidentally misleading you with that, just because of for the sake of trying to do math earlier with figuring out how many Target Masters would it take to end up reaching like deluxe price. For the siege molds, if they were to do the slight retooling of that to make the multi-pack, just because they likely would not end up doing individual releases for each of those. You would need it to be a multi-pack, and you'd need it to reach either deluxe, Voyager, or probably leader price. So I wanted to try and solve for how many to get there. So yeah, so that's partly on me. I might have accidentally misled you on. No, yeah, these guys just come with him as a both of them come with him as a bundle of 3 guys for standard deluxe price.
All right.
Yeah, so sorry about that. I didn't mean to.
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts that you have? I still find it funny now that I realized why this looks so different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other closing thoughts you have?
None.
None? Okay. Well then, I'll end the video with saying, see you guys next time.